Hello, this is Arcad of Babylon, and I welcome you to TradeFlare Knowledge, the exclusive series designed to build your knowledge of investing so that you can unlock your earnings potential. For our first lesson, I want to start off by explaining the ideology behind TradeFlare Knowledge. As I've grown into the trader and investor that I am today, I've noticed how hard it is to find information all in one place and geared towards diligently building a strong foundation of knowledge so that anyone can learn how to grow and invest for their future. Now, I've seen some great YouTube resources, but these are mostly live trading resources and updates and opinions. It's scattered and hard to find what you can trust and what you should know. There's a lot of great information on the internet, but reading big words and trying to find out what they mean is not the most efficient way to learn about trading. Imagine trying to use 3 different history books to get through a history class without a teacher. That would be so inconvenient. I feel like all the information would be slightly different, tests would be really hard, and you'd have no guidance. That's the same thing with trying to use information all over the internet to take a test or buy a trade or make an investment on the stock market. I'm trying to make TradeFlare Knowledge be the book. The course itself will be your investments or your paper trading account, and the professors will be Circuit Breaker and I. And I find that most new traders don't understand the stock market fully, and they want to start buying call options on stocks they hear about on the news or from their friends on social media. No wonder so many people quit, no wonder so many people are afraid of investing, and no wonder so many people are bad savers. So the goal of TradeFlare Knowledge is to break it down from the basics. When I say basics, I'm talking about the basics. And first off, let's break down the term stock market. So I'm going to start off by defining and explaining the word stock. A stock is a security that represents the ownership of a fraction of a corporation. A security is a tradable financial asset, and an asset is something of value that you own. A corporation is a company that is owned by the public. Companies offer up their ownership via IPO to the public so that they can grow and they can continue to grow because they can raise more money from the investors and they can grow and profit off that capital. So when they offer up ownership, they offer out a bunch of stocks, which is fractional ownership. So people can actually buy part of the company. So when you buy a stock of Apple, you're buying a part of that company. You're owning that. Imagine if you invested your own money into your own company. What would be the goal? The goal would be to invest money into that company and make profit. And that's why the number one most attractive thing about a stock is the profitability. That's what will increase the demand. And we'll talk a little bit later about what increases price, but demand is one of those things. So we know what a stock is now. Now let's talk about what a market is. And a market's simple. It's any place where there are buyers and sellers engaging in the trade of assets. So you got the stock market, the housing market, the crypto market, the treasury market, all these markets, the supermarket, they all have an exchange going on and they're engaging in trade of assets. So when I go to the store and I give them my dollar is an asset, cash is an asset. I give them my dollar and they give me in exchange any food that I want. The stock market's the same thing. I go give them my dollar, and in exchange they give me an asset or ownership of a company. The stock is the ownership, the fractional ownership of the company. So when I'm going to the stock market, I'm engaging in the trade of an asset for ownership of that company. And that's the basics of what's going on. But what we're really usually watching in the stock market, we're trying to take advantage of the stock market is the price. And the price is important because the price is determined by supply and demand. And supply and demand is something from economics. And it's something that, people can get really scared of when they start to hear those words. But all it means is how much do you have and how much do people want? And when we have stocks, there is a limited amount of stocks per, each company issues a certain amount of stocks. So that gives each stock some certain point of value. So supply and the demand of the stocks is going to change the price. So like I said earlier, when something's profitable, that's going to increase the demand. So that's going to increase the price. So a common misconception is that these prices are random and you can't figure out what they're doing or what they mean. That's false. They have some sort of supply and demand attached to them. They have people buying and selling stocks. people buying and selling cryptos, people buying and selling houses. It's changing the prices, it's changing the supply, it's changing the demand, and it's going to change the prices. And that's where we get all these fluctuations. Trying to time that without knowing what it means, trying to go into a stock and looking at the price and seeing a bullish pennant without knowing what that stock is or what is underlying, it doesn't make sense as an investor. Maybe as a trader, maybe as a gambler, but as an investor, the stock market is about, buying assets and holding them for their value. And I want to go back to economics and talk about inflation a little bit, because inflation is the tendency for prices to rise over time. And when you factor the profitability of the company into that inflation, the prices are going to tend to go up if companies are growing and inflation is occurring in these markets. You're going to be increasing the amount of money that you make, and you're going to be beating inflation if you have money in assets that have good value, that have profitability. And that's where we make our investments. That's where we have our assets and we hold them. That's what investing is all about. Later on, we'll talk about protecting these assets and leveraging these assets, and that's where trading comes into all this. But for now, that wraps up this video. If you got good value out of this video, make sure you hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. If you're looking for a trusted investing Discord that's all about the future, then check out the link in the description for the link to our free version, or you could upgrade to our TradeFlare Pro, which will give you all of the goodies described in the description. And as always, I am not a financial advisor and the stock market is risky. You could lose money. So make sure you use all the information in these videos at your own risk. And remember, this is all a process, and a process takes time, your most valuable asset. So quit wasting it. Get up, get out, and go get it, my friend.